You're listening to the voice of IWA Flip here on Interfed Radio. With me today in studio, Pioneer League Commissioner of the Louisiana Purchase League, Trevor Riley. Trevor, you there?
Yeah, what up, what up?
Oh man, you know what? I remember I think talking with Marchand, and your name came up, and I was like, you know what? I remember the Louisiana Purchase League, getting getting that initiation, and just hearing the stats, just the numbers, and a lot of, there's a lot of ways to play this game, whether it's, character based, whether it's, at large, whether you're trying to hit the report. And I think we've gone on air and a few people said, hey, well, I don't like any of that. I'd rather, I'm a numbers guy. And Trevor, I think you fit that category as well, where, you're a numbers guy. You like the stats.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, and you brought those stats into the Louisiana Purchase. That's something that is kind of it's the stronghold. There's a lot of stat tracking, a lot of Can you run over what you're what else you're tracking there in Louisiana Purchase League?
Definitely. What I try to do in-depth wrestler rankings, stable rankings, tag team records, six-man records. And I like to do all the kind of particular stuff too, like cards and total attendance and battle royal entrants and, what the highest league strat was, what my guys' league strats were, what the average league strategy was for the league. So pretty much everything. And I also do an LPL encyclopedia, which is available on the Facebook group. I believe it's facebook.com/groups/IWA LPL. And there I do go ahead and track everything. You can see how many times a wrestler has won a title, specific battle royal information, how I've doled out the commissioner money, and a lot of the matches that have happened in the past. I do go ahead and log those, and those are able to be viewed in the spreadsheet in the encyclopedia.
Nice. Now the other attraction there in the Louisiana Purchase is that it is a Pioneer League, no big records, so you gotta go raw. You gotta go from the bottom up.
No, definitely, and the LPL or the IWA has pretty much allowed me to customize the LPL the way that I want, and I think just to create more of an in-league feel and to have kind of a good stronghold and take the game back to kind of yesteryear when it was strictly in-league and people were trash talking and. So we have a 6 wrestler limit there. No big recs, no transfers. So just all new wrestlers. So I just really want to create a league and an environment where, it's pretty much, let's see what you got. Let's put your best 6 wrestlers in there. Let's see what kind of strategies you can dole out, and let's see what you can do in singles, tag, and 6-man.
I think the other thing you got to track is countdown to the end of year 1, because once you have that 1-year anniversary, it'll launch the Louisiana Purchase League into the elite status, where as long as you had 50 cards, I think it allows you to compete for that elite championship. So right. We got to start that. We got to start that countdown, because you're how many cycles in are we in with the Louisiana Purchase?
We just had cycle 9 on Tuesday, and believe you me, I have been blowing up Kimberly's email and trying to go ahead and get this an elite league. Now, she's still told me that I have to wait for a year. So we're looking at June 2019 to go ahead and get it to be an elite league. Initially, when I thought about the concept and wanted to get the league started, I did request that it do become an American League championship. However, at that time, that cycle, they did go ahead and restructure the entire format of that, and we got squeezed out, and then the other 6 Pioneer Leagues got kicked in at that cycle. So it was kind of a double whammy, but again, the IWA has been very accommodating and forthcoming to everything that I'm trying to offer in the LPL.
Now, at the current right now, you have a deal in the LPL. You want to go ahead and mention the deal that's running right now in the LPL, where you can use some of the scripts?
It's pretty much the traditional deal, the $12 and you get the 20 free matches against the bottom 20. You can also customize that deal where you can get the the 20 free matches, but 10 against the regional champions and then 10 against the bottom 10. I am going to look into and pursue getting other match deals, as I have seen, like with the NSL, seeing if we can do that to kind of boost some activity and get some more active managers in the league.
Now, we had our little differences, and like I said, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but in terms of the new battle royal format, and we talked that the IWA has recently went on and they've changed the way it works, and you were mentioning that it might throw some managers off because they hide their fighter getting thrown out from behind, or
right. That actually happened to me this past cycle. I enter all three of my wrestlers in the LPL into the Battle Royal every cycle. And, I took a quick look at the Battle Royal standings, or like the breakdown, and I only saw two of my wrestlers initially, and I was like, oh, they forgot to run one of my guys. But then I actually looked into it a little bit further, and it did happen where one wrestler threw out two wrestlers, and my wrestler was one of the wrestlers that got thrown out. But it was just kind of hard to see and find out. It's always nice to kind of see it, bracketed one by one. I just feel like in the early stages of this new format, it does seem to be a bit confusing, and I think it could lead people to, falsely reporting mistakes and what have you.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, and that's why I wanted to get it on there, because I know some people might be thinking the same thing, and it's like maybe more and more people are experience that, and
right.
Maybe the IWA has to hear it from a few more than just one. So
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think the concept is great. It just probably needs a little tweaking. Just to make sure from a reporting standpoint, from like a printing standpoint, that everybody knows what's going on.
Definitely, yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, like you said, there's some managers that run huge rosters and need to just get that information extracted right away. So,
right.
Now, getting back to the Louisiana Purchase League, I mean, it's in what federation?
Steel.
Oh, nice. Now, Trevor, have you reached out to Will Wisdom?
No, I haven't.
Right now, what he's getting ready to launch is he's running what's called the Steel Interfed title, and he's actually set up a calendar that's going to travel this belt around.
Oh,
so
nice.
it's going to go from one league in the Steel to another, and anyone that wants to get involved, all you got to do is reach out to Will, and then when the belt comes to your league as the commissioner, you sign the match. You sign that championship match.
Oh, that's awesome. I think Kimberly may have sent me an email over on that, and I just didn't read into it too much. But I mean, it sounds like a great concept, especially in today's IWA, to kind of generate interest and kind of do new things. It sounds like it could be like a very fruitful concept.
Oh yeah, I mean, like we were mentioning before, I mean, right now one of the attractions there in the Louisiana Purchase is facing a manager like Big Marchand, who's just so freaking dominant. You're just like, you're gonna go to the league and you're gonna have to see this one manager, and it's like, he's not he's let's say it like it is, he's an exclusive manager. He's not in every league in the IWA,
right?
But he's in this league in the Steel.
Definitely. And I not that I try to pimp him or anything, but like I kind of feel like I'm kind of the ringleader, and like Eric Marchand is my prized possession. It's like, come to the circus, come beat this guy, come knock this guy off his pedestal, because him and his son Anthony are just tearing stuff up every single cycle. His son Anthony just won the back-to-back league and TV with 500 strats. So, I mean, we don't have a lot of active managers there, but I mean, we have some really quality guys that, we need guys to come in there and try to knock them off.
Yeah, no, I mean, and as you're mentioning that, like you said, the other attraction with the Louisiana Purchase, and as I'm traveling the IWA, Trevor, I look for managers like you, because I'm looking around and I'm like, where else is, what other leagues is this guy in? And like you said, your IWA action is is limited as well, or so I that's what attracts me. I'm like, all right, cool. Here we have a commissioner that does great work. He's going to be keeping stats, and everybody on air already knows my story with the stats. Like I said, I tried, I tried, but oops. But yeah, no, that's awesome. So when I find commissioners like yourself that actually track that kind of stuff, it's just one of those things that eventually my cameo will come. Like I said, whether like I said, I hope it's there sooner than later, but like I said, I'm definitely glad you reached out, and definitely glad we could get the Louisiana Purchase on the map, because I think it's a good time in the IWA, and especially since it is a limit league, we can navigate some different attractions there.
Definitely, and like I said, I that's pretty much what I was going for. It's like I want to see, especially with all there are a lot of flooders and people that are seemingly just want to hit the report nowadays. It's like I would like to see some of these guys actually come into a league where you do have limits, and you're not just throwing 25 guys out there, and you're pretty much bound to hit a 501 or a 500. But let's see what you've got. Bring your six best guys in here, come in here, talk some shit, and then, let's see who the best of the best is. Because, like I said, Eric Marchand is on top right now. FRM 16 and Foe, I mean, they're just running things.
Shout out to the Diamond District. Shout out to the Diamond District.
Definitely, he's a really cool guy too. Sometimes we just shoot the shit on Facebook too. He's an awesome guy.
Oh yeah, great guy right there. And now. Now, Trevor, this is my take right now with the IWA, and I think we mentioned it right before we got on air, where I kind of like to navigate to these different leagues, make an appearance,
Right.
And one of the attractions, like we were just mentioning with the Steel Internet, excuse me, Steel Interfed Championship that they're going to be taking around, because that's another thing I've noticed, as I'm taking a look at the IWA, is that managers tend to play with their friends, with the people that they're comfortable with.
Right.
So as where the Louisiana Purchase League, like you said, you got Marchand there, you got his kid, you got yourself, you got a few other managers. That's what makes those interfed titles, in my eyes, that much more interesting to start up and start moving around, because now you're going to have, I'm going to throw some names out there that you might not be familiar with, like Will Wisdom, like Terrence Haggard, like Douglas Lee,
Right.
who are pretty much over in the AWL and the CCL, and because that's who they're comfortable playing with. Now all of a sudden you're going to have a chance to go up against that guy through an interfed title,
Right.
And
Definitely.
I think that's a part of the game that we have to bring into the Louisiana Purchase, and I think it'll help the activity there, definitely.
Yeah, certainly, and again, that's something that I'll have to look into, and certainly get on board with, because like I said, we need bodies, we need more fodder, we need active wrestlers, we need everything. It just, yeah.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
I would
now
love to hit 50 cards a cycle and just have all the trash talk and have a great commission report and just have everything. But I mean, like anything, it takes work, and practice makes perfect, and you need to kind of find what excites everybody. It's just not me being selfish running my league, doing what I want, because if I keep that up, it's just gonna doors are gonna be closed pretty soon.
uh-oh. Now, Trevor, I know we got right into the Louisiana Purchase, but now let's give everybody listening a little history. I mean, what's your IWA background? What's how many years? Where did you start? How many? Are you on and off?
Okay, I was actually in the IWA. I joined in June 1998 was my first cycle in the Arrowhead League in what I call Old Steel, because Steel actually went away for a bit in 99 or 2000, but it came back. So I was in Old Steel. Russian Revolver was my first wrestler. His
Okay.
first.
I'm gonna stop you right there, because you just you threw some history, and like I said, anytime I get a little history, or a chance to get someone that actually knows something about it, you said Steel just went away. I mean, they reformatted the federations, or?
Right. I believe what happened for a minute, they may have only had 4 federations because when I joined in 1998, Steel was there, and eventually, I think some of the leagues eventually closed, and then it just was they just broke it down to Iron, Gold, Jade, and Diamond. And then even I feel like Steel came back around 2002 or 2003, and Bronze came out around that time as well.
Okay.
So in the late 90s, early 2000s, I believe they had 4 federations for a bit. Not that long, but it
So
was
the
only 4 feds for a minute.
so the cycles were quicker. They would come around just bam in your face.
I'm not so sure that was the case, but I don't really feel like the IWA was ran back then how it is now. Doing the 2 feds a week and what have you. But it was hard to tell back in that day though too because it was strictly pay by mail. And I always made sure to get my match information and what have you in by the bulletin printed date. So I mean, definitely, it was kind of a different game back then, especially with it being solely play by mail and not any kind of online or email submissions or what have you.
Yeah, it's scary when I tell people it's like, oh, dude, I used to wait by the mailbox waiting for this big envelope to come. They like, what? Like, yeah, dude, you used to just wait. You used to wait and you used to open it up, just hope somebody wrote some shit about you. Some
Right,
shit.
definitely. Yeah, and I still get excited about getting the envelope. The only league that I do get is the LPL still by mail, but
Okay.
I mean, there's nothing quite like getting that big white envelope in the mail. I mean, I'm 35 years old. I still get giddy about seeing it and seeing my guys' names on the front page and everything. So
I
it
mean,
kind of takes me back. It's like I feel like I'm 14 years old again.
oh man, and I hate to cut off your history while you were talking about the history, but I mean, we talked right off air in terms of the PDFs. I mean, that was the only reason why I gave up the receiving the envelope because once I can get the PDFs online, I was like, you know what? I as much as I love getting that envelope, it's well worth it. That the IWA is gonna, So I went green for that thing because they were like, hey, if we, because I remember that email. They're like, hey, we're gonna reveal all the PDFs, and I was like, would you go green if we would do this? And I said, yeah, I would. I
Right.
would go green. But
Right,
yeah,
definitely. And the only reason I get the LPL is because, it's my league, it's my creation, and, I just want to, kind of have it on record for myself. But I think the advent of the PDFs is probably the greatest invention in IWA history, or it's the greatest step that they've kind of taken. I guess one way that they could improve that is I would like for them to save the PDFs on their system or whatever, so you can actually go back. I save each PDF to my computer, but it would be nice to just have that history on their site to be able to go and look, at AAL, 212, and we're on
right.
AAL 380 now, and it would be cool to just have that. I mean, definitely it takes
Oh
up more
yeah,
space and bandwidth on their end, but I just think from a historical stat standpoint, that'd be cool to look back and be like, oh hey, yeah, I remember when that happened. Remember when that happened? You can look back at cool
yeah.
trash talk and
I got I, I got
stuff.
I got a terabyte. I'll send them a terabyte. Be like, here you go. Everybody send them a terabyte. Here you go. Keep storing give us the history, man.
Yeah.
Come on, IWA. How much could a PDF actually hold? It's like,
Exactly, and I think they're only a few megs too. I mean, it's not that much, but
yeah.
or at least maybe keep the last 10 bulletins viewable or what have you.
Yeah. Now, for a while, I was archiving them, like, because a bunch of Facebooks, excuse me, a lot of leagues have Facebook groups.
Right.
So I was uploading them to like the Facebook group, to kind of give the group an archive. But it's like, you know, I'm with you, man. I wish the IWA would do that, and I know a lot of managers do have their own personal archives. So
Yeah,
you
and
know,
I'm definitely one of them. So
now I'm sorry, Trevor. You were saying, okay, so we were at you used to remember receiving the bulletins with your history, and then this was the steel came back.
Yeah, well, I mean, did you want me to just keep going with like when I came into the game, or?
Yeah, oh yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off and take you on a big old tangent, but
Yeah, no, that's fine. Again, the Arrowhead League in Steel, June of 1998. My wrestler was the Russian Revolver, who is now still active in the AAL, actually. So
nice, dude.
his first ever finisher was the Cold War Killer, and now it is Russian Roulette. I did change that back in the late 90s. So that was my initial entree into the IWA. I loved it from the minute that I got my first bulletin.
And,
My
and
brother actually joined the next cycle, but he only played the one cycle in the American Dream League in Iron, July 1998.
now you're saying that that's your one and only guy there in the AAL?
No, I have two guys in the AAL. It's the Russian Revolver and Buck's Vicious Vic Voltage. They were
Nice.
actually my very first two wrestlers that were in the AHL back in the day. So it was kind of nostalgic for me for when I came back to the IWA to go ahead and take my wrestlers and put them back into a league, the AAL that I was in 20 years ago. So I mean that was kind of cool, and I ran kind of a reminiscing, um, rub your eyes, Rip Van Winkle angle in the AAL. But I
Nice.
mean,
I
it's
like it.
it's pretty dead over there, so I'm probably the only one that read it.
Oh man, and see that's the one thing with like you're saying with archiving it. Imagine you could tell somebody, hey, you got to go check out AAL. Number ABC 123. That one has my Rip Van Winkle comeback. That one,
Right.
that would be cool, man. But yeah, come on IWA if you're listening. Give us a little more archives.
Yeah.
But
I think it's probably a part-time gig for them anyway. I mean, they probably make a decent dime off the IWA still, but it doesn't seem like it would be a full-time gig for them. I don't want to pretend like I know their situation, but I still feel like they do a really good job, and
oh yeah.
they're really on top of everything, and I have no complaints.
Yeah, no complaints either, man. But we still got to give them a little hard time. We still got
Oh,
to give
definitely,
them
definitely.
from time to time. We got to give them a little hard time so they could keep moving it forward, man. Because they
Oh
have
yeah,
made fantastic improvements over these years, man.
definitely.
And now, Trevor, I mean, obviously, we're trying to push people to the Louisiana Purchase League. Stats. If you're into the stats, come on over.
Hmm.
Hopefully we do. Yeah, hopefully we do reach out to Will Wisdom, and like I said, hopefully we can get that Interfed title moving that way as well. Because
Right.
the more people are involved, the more relevant the title becomes, in my opinion.
Uh, Definitely, and that's definitely on my radar. Like I said, that's something that I'll look into this weekend here.
Oh, awesome, man. Yeah, no, like I said, I hope we can get some people moving there. Like I said, I definitely will give it its its cameo and its keep giving it its push here. Now, the other thing I mentioned, we are going to look into, revamping that front page because like I
Right.
said, that's another thing that the game has allowed now,
Hmm.
and you mentioned it, you've seen it first with the WWL.
Yes, and it is kind of nice and different to see the bulletins in full color and what have you. We actually just changed the logo over for the LPL probably about 3 cycles ago. Eric Marchand went ahead and created like a little stamp logo that it's kind of a
You,
fallback because obviously the Louisiana Purchase is something that actually happened in history. 1803, that's when the United States of America more than doubled in size and what have you. So I do play on like the 1803 concept and the whole, the Louisiana Purchase. We only wrestle in the areas of the Louisiana Purchase. So
oh, nice. So the belts have territorial names.
yes, I do. They're pretty much each of the states. There were 15 states that formed out of the Louisiana Purchase, and those are actually all belts in the league. The regionals, and then there's the South Dakota and North Dakota tag team titles, and the Montana and Minnesota 6-man titles. I know some people don't like the renaming of titles because it makes it harder when they submit matches, but I think it's just something that adds a little flair to the league, a little more personality, and just something that I wanted to do personally. So I'm glad that the IWA went ahead and allowed me to do that.
Oh no, I mean, and to be honest with you, Trevor, the play style that that I play, the play style I think that you play, you know, I've got on air, man. It's the only thing I'm gonna win is a dang regional. So it's like
Right.
I'm not hitting the report, man. So for
I
me,
totally hear that.
yeah, for me to go to a league like yourself and be able to say that I was, the XYZ champion for 5 cycles, to me, that's big. It's like,
Oh yeah.
because that's more relevant because it's a small league, it's in house, and it actually adds more credit to that, more prestige to that league.
Totally agreed. Yes.
So moving forward, like I said, you gave me a big idea as you mentioned, Big Marchand, because I'm gonna actually have him help me out with that front page.
Oh,
Watch.
nice.
Like I said, we'll give you a nice surprise, man. Like I said, I'll reach out to him. I'll send him some template, and then like I said, look out for the Big Marchand IWA Flip edition of the Louisiana Purchase Bulletin. So
Oh,
keep your
that'd be
eyes.
cool. And I would definitely like to take a look and kind of have my hand in it too. I mean, I
Oh,
think
for sure.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
creative too. So.
Oh, you know what? You know what? Then we'll have a try a combination. Like I said, I'll provide the template, and you guys can provide the creative aspect of it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Sounds good.
Nice, nice. Now, Trevor, any shout outs, any last words right here while we have you on air?
Just looking for more active managers and playership in the LPL. Again, we have the Marchands and Derek Tuttle, Chris Stevens, and Les McCarver. Their participation is very intermittent, but I would love to see them active every cycle. Certainly just give it a chance and uh, just want to make the LPL the best that it can be, and especially to get to that elite status for next year. And like I said, we have a few managers there, but just really good quality managers in the league.
We're gonna start hashtagging June 2019. June 2019. Yeah,
Definitely,
man.
I'm all for it, man. Cycle 17 or 18, whatever that is.
Nice. That'll work. That'll work. Now, you've been listening to the commissioner of the Louisiana Purchase League, Trevor Riley, and myself, IWA Flip. Trevor, you have a good day, brother.
All right, you too, Flip. Thanks for having me.